Well, good morning. It is Sunday school, and welcome to Sunday school. Uh, anyway, it's such a beautiful day that the coffee shop was absolutely packed. I had to turn around and come right back home in order to be here on time this morning. Constance was kind enough to make our own coffee for me this morning. So, what do you care about this? Anyway, let me have another sip, please. Now, we often hear, and understandably so, because of the wild and craziness that especially pours out of the third chapter of the book of the law, uh, the crabbiness and the tendency to interpret the book of the law and Crowley and Thelema to be very selfish and mean, and which is pretty damn stupid. And I feel you have to really go out of your way to interpret any sort of tendency toward fascism uh, in uh, in the Book of the Law, or indeed in the attitudes and the behavior in Crowley during his life. And I'm going to read to you this morning something very short. Sunday school is going to be short this morning. Um, that Crowley wrote, and I'm not sure what year it was, but from the uh, things that he says inside, I would assume it was just prior to World War One, and uh, if not, it was certainly prior to World War Two, because he speaks specifically about uh, the the growing political situation in Europe at the time. But it is, in my opinion, so relevant to today, and in particular, relevant to the attitude, the expanded level of consciousness that Crowley expected of someone who was bright enough to accept the law of Thelema, uh, that I thought I would share it with you uh, this morning, because it's really hard to find it. It's called Humanity First, and the I found it in the book of essays at the Oriflamme number 2, which is Oriflamme's an official publication of Ordo Templi Orientis. And I don't know how available it is publicly. It's not secret or anything like that, but uh, this was published by the OTO back in 1998 and given out to members. Um, so I'm going to share Crowley's Humanity First. It may be that one day the gold plate with its diamond inscriptions may be stripped by some vandals, Macaulay's New Zealander or another, from my sarcophagus. It may be that centuries later, still the learned archaeologists of some nation yet unguessed, evacuating, oh, yeah, evacuating, no, excuse me, it's not evacuating, it's excavating the ruins of Westminster Abbey, may find those bones and send them to anatomists for examination. Maybe I better have another sip of coffee to wet my whistle here. In other words, Someday in the future, they're going to find Crowley's bones. Okay, which is going to be really hard because they're ashes. Be that as it may. The report of these anatomists may be something in these terms. These are the bones of a mammal, a primate, Homo sapiens. The skull is not prognathous, and that's a really underbite kind of thing, ape-like. This person was probably a Caucasian, unquote. In such a judgment, I acquiesce with pleasure. It would be a limitation to be described as this German or this Japanese. Man is man, and in him burns the mystic flame of Godhead. It is a blasphemy to discriminate further, to antithesize the Russian against the Turk, or any matter more serious than national belief, custom, or costume. All advanced thinkers, all men who realize the divine plan, desire and intend the solidarity of humanity. And the patriot, in the narrow and infuriated sense of the word, is a traitor to the true interests of man. It may be necessary now and then to defend one's own section of mankind from aggression. But even this should always be done with the mental reservation, may this war be the nurse of a more solid peace. And may this argument lead to a better understanding. May this division lead to a higher union. Quote, a man's worst enemies are those of his own household, unquote. And the worst foes of any nation are its petty patriots. Patriotism is the last resort of a scoundrel. And the footnote attributes that, at least, to Samuel Johnson. The deliberate antagonizing of nations is the foulest of crimes. It is the press of the warring nations that, by inflaming the passions of the ignorant, have set Europe by the ears. So this is World War I or II, obviously. Had all men been educated and traveled, they would not have listened to those harpy shrieks. Now the mischief is done, and it is for us to repair it as best we may. This must be our motto: humanity first. All persons who generalize about nations, quote, Germans are all murderers, Frenchmen are all adulterers, England are all snobs, Russians are all drunkards, and so on, must be silenced. We must refuse to listen to any man who does not realize that civilization itself is at stake. That even now Europe may be so weakened that it may fall prey to the forces of atavism. That war may be followed by bankruptcy, revolution, and famine. That even within our own lifetime the Tower of Ages may be fallen into unrecognizable ruins. We must refuse to listen to any man who has not resolutely put away from himself all limited interests, all national passion, who cannot look upon wounded humanity with a broad, clear gaze, passionless and yet compassionate of the surgeon who is not single-minded in his determination to save a life at whatever cost of mutilation of any particular limb. We must listen most to the German who understands that England is a great and progressive and enlightened nation, whose welfare is necessary to the health of Europe, and to the Frenchman who sees that in Germany his own best friend. The model of science and organization and of foresight, which alone can build up the fallen temple anew. We must listen to the Englishman who is willing to acquiesce in the freedom of the seas, and to the Russian who acknowledges that it is time to put a term to the tyranny of arms and the menace of intrigue. The yelping press of every country, always keen to gather pennies from the passions of the unthinking and unknowing multitude, will call every such man a traitor. So be it. Let the lower interests be betrayed to the higher. The particular benefit of any country to the commonwealth of the whole world. Let us no more consider men, but man. Let us remember who came from heaven and was made flesh among the Jews, not to lead his own people to victory, not to accept that partial dominion of the earth, but to bring light and truth to all mankind. Had the Savior of humanity deigned to accept the patriotic mission of driving out the Romans, he would have united his nation, but man would not have been redeemed. Therefore, his people called him traitor and betrayed him to their own oppressors. Let those who are willing, as he was, to accept opprobrium, and if need be, the cross, come forward. Let them bear the oriflamme of the sun for their banner, for that the sun shineth alike upon all nations of the earth. And let them ever flash in the forefront of their battle this one redeeming thought: humanity first. Now that's by the wicked and evil Aleister Crowley. And I think it has never been a more timely message. And that's Sunday School for today. Tomorrow, the new book launches. I don't have it here with me. What kind of self-promoter am I? But anyway, be on the lookout for The Tarot Architect, coming out tomorrow, May 5th, 2025. And I hope you enjoy it. Until tomorrow, for the order of Monday morning, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.